On the last episode of the High Stakes Success Performance Psychology podcast, I interviewed wilderness survival instructor Nick Buck, and he gave us some amazing tip, tricks, and life hacks to allow us to survive in the wilderness. So you can check out the full interview below. There is a link, but for now, we're going to break it down into Nick Buck's top 5 tips for surviving in the wild. Let's go. Number 5, calm down.
But the first thing that people should do is just stop. Stop their feet moving, take a knee, take a seat, and calm down. Because it's incredible how people can find themselves 24, 48, 72 hours into a scenario without ever having calmed down and thought about things and thought clearly and properly. And people have gotten themselves in some serious trouble because they failed to do that. So the very first thing you should do in a situation is to just stop. Take a seat, take a knee, and assess the situation.
Number 4, plan ahead.
Before heading out into a wilderness environment, you need to make sure that you have put the proper steps in place. You need to make sure that people know where you're going, know when to expect you back, and you need to have a proper plan in place if that doesn't manifest.
Number 3, educate yourself.
I would say that you should learn as much as you can. Knowledge weighs nothing. You can't drop it. It doesn't need batteries. The software won't crash, and you can adapt the correct knowledge to any and every situation, every challenge that presents itself.
Number 2, equip yourself with the essentials.
You are foolhardy if you venture into the wilderness for any period of time without the following. You certainly want to be able to maintain correct body temperature. As we've discussed, realistically, that's the first thing that's going to take you down, take you out of the game, is lack of thermoregulation. So a proper microclimate, that can start with clothing. You know, you want a base layer and you want some insulating mid layers and a waterproof outer layer. Very simple. Okay. You would then want a cutting tool that's going to allow you to access the dry firewood, as we've discussed, that's inside the wet woods. I would say that you then need a fire lighting device. And as I've said, the only one that I would trust my life to is a ferro-Syrian rod. I carry a Bic, I carry a Zippo, I carry 2 or 3 different types of matches, but I carry a ferro rod around my neck.
And wilderness survival instructor Nick Buck's number 1 tip, never give up.
Some people give up before they leave the house each morning, and some people are just very negative. At the other end of the spectrum, you get incredibly positive, strong-minded people. You know, the Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell, who recounts the tale of finding himself smashed to pieces but reaching forward with one arm and scratching a line in the sand and dragging himself to that line and saying to himself, if I can drag myself to that line, I'll just drag myself to the next line. And he did that for X many miles. That's the mentality you must have. The sort of not dead, can't quit mentality. Okay, guys, that has been Nick Buck's top 5 wilderness survival tactics. As always, join us at highstakessuccess.com for upcoming guests and episodes. Be sure to subscribe here as well, like, leave a comment, and remember, when the stakes are high, success is the only option.